Today, we are cutting through all the noise. We're going to skip the fads and the crazy headlines to build a simple, science-backed blueprint for a long, and more importantly, a healthy life.
I mean, think about it. We are just bombarded with health advice from every direction. It's overwhelming, it's confusing, and honestly, a lot of it is completely contradictory. So how do you find the real signal in all of that noise? You know how it is. One day you hear that kale is the secret to living forever. The very next day, an entire food group, like carbs, is suddenly the worst thing you can possibly eat. It's just impossible to keep up.
And it feels like for every single study that comes out claiming some food or drink is a miracle cure.
You can bet there's another one right behind it claiming the exact opposite. So what actually works? Well, it turns out the answer is way simpler and maybe a little more surprising than you'd think.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to navigate what I call the health myth maze. Then, we'll lay down our 3 core pillars: the sleep reset, the food clock, and the engine within. And finally, we're going to put it all together into your very own 100-year blueprint. Let's dive in.
You see, the real key isn't about chasing the next big trend. It's about getting back to the fundamentals. Our blueprint is built on just 3 simple pillars, but as you're about to see, they are definitely not all created equal.
And boom, this chart right here illustrates the whole hierarchy, and it is surprising. Forget everything you've heard. Sleep isn't just a pillar, it's the entire foundation. It accounts for a full 50% of the equation. Yeah, that means it's more important than diet and exercise combined.
So, let's get into our first and by far most important pillar. That old saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," it's not just wrong, it's actually dangerously counterproductive.
Now check this out. This chart shows the results of a massive worldwide experiment that we all participate in every single year. The day after we spring forward and lose just 1 hour of sleep, heart attacks spike by 24%. And when we fall back and get that hour back, they drop by 21%. That is the incredible power of a single hour of sleep.
And this is exactly why that whole cultural myth of powering through on no sleep is so incredibly dangerous. It's based on a total misunderstanding of how our bodies work. The scientific links are crystal clear. Not getting enough sleep is a direct threat to your brain and your body.
So the big takeaway here is that sleep is not passive downtime. It's an active, absolutely essential maintenance cycle. When you're in deep sleep, your brain cells literally shrink to allow this cleaning fluid to come in and wash away all the toxic gunk that builds up during the day. If you skip this nightly cleaning, the consequences for your brain health down the road are just dramatic.
Okay, let's move on to our second pillar. And just like with sleep, it turns out we've been focusing on the wrong thing. We obsess over what we eat when we should really be paying attention to when we eat.
This slide does a great job of explaining why nutrition science is so darn confusing. You see a headline that red meat is linked to a 17% higher risk of colon cancer, but that's a really weak signal. It's easily muddled by 1,000 other lifestyle factors. Now compare that to smoking, which increases your risk of lung cancer by up to 2,500%. See, that's a clear, undeniable signal. For most foods, the science just isn't that black and white.
So instead of chasing the latest superfood, a much smarter strategy is to just manage your blood sugar. Avoid the sugary drinks, eat your veggies and protein before you eat your carbs. And here's the big one. Give your body a break. Stopping all food at least 4 hours before you go to sleep lets your digestive system shut down, so your body can actually focus on that deep sleep and repair we just talked about.
Now this nightly fasting window you create, it triggers something incredible inside you called autophagy. And the best way to think about it is like your body's cellular recycling program. It goes in, clears out all the old damaged junk to make way for new, healthy cells. It's absolutely critical for slowing down aging. And to really kick it into high gear, you need to turn on your engine. And that brings us to our final pillar, exercise. But listen, we're not talking about just any exercise. We're talking about a very specific kind of training designed to build more powerful and more efficient little power plants inside your cells, which are called mitochondria.
And don't worry, this has nothing to do with no pain, no gain. It's all about smart, sustainable cardio. The goal is what's called Zone 2 training, and this slide gives you a really simple, back-of-the-napkin formula to figure out your target heart rate. It's a great starting point to find that perfect sweet spot for mitochondrial fitness.
Honestly, the best way to know if you're in Zone 2 is just by how it feels. It is not a brutal, I can't breathe sprint. It's a level of effort where, yeah, you're working, but you could still comfortably have a full conversation with the person next to you. It's sustainable, not punishing.
Okay, so we've worked our way through the maze of myths. We've established our 3 pillars. Now, let's put it all together into one simple, actionable blueprint.
And there it is, the entire plan in one place. Pillar 1, sleep. Make 7 to 8 hours non-negotiable for that critical brain cleaning cycle. Pillar 2, diet. Forget the what and focus on the when by stopping all food 4 hours before bed. And Pillar 3, exercise. Build that cellular engine with 30-40 minutes of Zone 2 cardio 3 times a week. That's it. Simple, powerful, and it's all based on solid science.
So, forget the expensive supplements, forget the complicated diets. As you can see, the most powerful, most impactful change you can possibly make for your long-term health, it might just be the simplest one of all.